Let's be honest. The twin flame journey can feel like both a miracle and a curse. One moment, your heart is wide open, overflowing with love that feels ancient and eternal. The next, you're crying on the floor, wondering why this connection, so pure, so sacred, has to be so hard. You've tried to walk away. You've whispered to the universe that you're done. You've even convinced yourself for a while that you've moved on. But then something pulls you back. A song, a dream, a deep ache in your chest that has no name. And suddenly, you're right back in that sacred space again. Still tied to them, still feeling everything, still unable to fully let go. This is not obsession. This is not weakness. And it's not because you're too emotional or naive or lost. This is the path of the divine feminine, the soul's remembering, the truth that defies logic. And today I want to speak to that truth, not from a place of theory, but from a place of deep soul wisdom, from the knowing that lives in your heart even when your mind tries to quiet it. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about why the divine feminine finds it so hard to let go of her twin flame. The divine feminine is heart-led. She doesn't just process life through logic or strategy, she feels it. She senses the undercurrents. She hears the quiet voice beneath the noise. And when she meets her twin flame, something ancient inside her lights up. It's not just love, it's recognition. It's as if her soul whispers, "There you are. I've waited lifetimes for you." This kind of connection doesn't fit in the boxes the world offers. It doesn't follow a clean timeline. It doesn't come with a clear explanation. So the mind tries to make sense of it. It tries to name it. Codependency, fantasy, emotional intensity. But the heart knows better. The heart remembers something deeper, something the mind can't grasp. The reason she can't let go is because on some level, she never truly held on. This bond wasn't created in this lifetime. It didn't begin with a conversation or a kiss. It began long before time. And no amount of trying to get over it can erase what is spiritually imprinted. That's why no matter how much she tries to logic her way out of this love, the pull remains. It's not always romantic. Sometimes it's just a quiet knowing that they're still connected, that they're still part of the same spiritual heartbeat. She might go months, even years without contact. But the moment her twin's energy shifts, she feels it. Because their souls are in constant dialogue, whether words are exchanged or not. This is why the feminine doesn't need evidence. She doesn't need signs. She doesn't even need their presence. Her love is not based on outcomes, it's based on energy. And that kind of love doesn't expire just because someone walks away. It lives on in the space between them. It breathes through the silence. So if you're struggling to understand why you still feel so much, despite all the reasons to move on, trust your heart. It's not broken. It's just tuned to a frequency most people can't hear. The journey of the divine feminine is often not one of logic or ambition. It's one of love. Not romantic love in the way we've been conditioned to believe, but soul love. Transformational love. Love that breaks you open so that your essence can rise. When she meets her twin flame, it's like the universe hands her a key. But instead of unlocking a fairy tale, it opens a doorway to everything buried. Her shadows, her fears, her wounds, and her truth. This connection is her mirror. It shows her everything, especially the parts she spent lifetimes trying to forget. It's not always sweet or comfortable. In fact, it's often brutal. Because the soul doesn't come here to play it safe. It comes here to evolve. And for the divine feminine, love is the classroom. She can't let go because the bond has become her teacher. Every heartbreak, every silence, every moment of longing, it's all part of her awakening. She's not chasing a person. She's chasing her own growth, her own light, her own wholeness. And yes, it hurts. But this pain isn't without purpose. It stretches her. It deepens her. It leads her back to herself. Many people around her won't understand. They'll tell her to just date someone new. They'll question her strength. They'll mistake her devotion for desperation. But what they don't see is that she's not weak. She's brave. She's doing the inner work most people run from. She's facing her abandonment wounds. She's healing her inner child. She's breaking ancestral patterns. And she's doing it all through the lens of love. This is why she stays. Not because she's stuck, not because she's needy, but because her soul chose this path. And her twin flame is the exact catalyst she needs to step into her divine purpose. So, no, letting go isn't as simple as deleting a number or closing a chapter, because the chapter isn't over, it's still unfolding. And she's still becoming. There's a kind of love that doesn't shrink when it's not returned, a love that holds space without expectations, a love that says, even if you're not ready, I'll still hold this frequency. I'll still love from afar. I'll still believe in your soul. This is the love of the divine feminine. She was never meant to love the way the world does. She was never meant to withhold affection, play games, or calculate her value based on someone's behavior. Her love is pure. It's deep. It's eternal. This doesn't mean she allows mistreatment. It doesn't mean she stays in toxic situations. It simply means that when she loves, she does so without armor. And that love doesn't vanish just because circumstances change. The world might see this as weakness, but spiritually it's a sacred assignment. The feminine energy is meant to anchor love on the planet, to show humanity what it means to feel deeply and love fiercely, even when it hurts. So she can't just stop loving her twin flame, because that love is not just about them. It's part of her mission. Her love is doing work behind the scenes. It's holding space for their transformation. It's shifting timelines. It's planting seeds of healing in both hearts. She may never speak to him again. He may never come back in this lifetime, but still, she loves. Not because she's naive. Not because she's waiting, but because it's who she is. That kind of love doesn't need permission. It doesn't need a label. It just is. And this is something only the soul can understand. Not everyone is meant to love like this, but for those who do, it's not a curse. It's a gift, a painful, powerful, sacred gift. Here's what no one tells you about the twin flame journey. Even when you're not together, you're still affecting each other. The divine feminine feels this deeply. She'll be going about her day and suddenly feel waves of sadness, anxiety, or longing, and they're not hers. They're his. She'll dream of him when he's in crisis. She'll feel his pull when he's on the verge of a breakthrough. She'll know, even without proof, that something in him is shifting. This is energetic intimacy, the invisible bond, the soul contract that keeps working even in the silence. She can't let go because she's still connected. Not in a clingy or obsessive way, but in a real energetic way. And that connection doesn't just disappear because she's trying to move on. Every time she heals a part of herself, she sends a ripple through their shared field. Every time she forgives, surrenders, or chooses peace, he feels it, even if he doesn't consciously know it. And the same goes for him. When he goes through emotional turmoil, she feels the echoes. When he suppresses his truth, she carries the tension. When he awakens a part of himself, she expands too. This doesn't mean she should put her life on hold. It doesn't mean she has to carry his burdens. But it does mean she'll always be energetically linked, because their souls are working as a team, even when their personalities can't. This is not about codependency. It's about resonance, spiritual alignment, a shared mission that is playing out in both visible and invisible ways. So if you're the divine feminine and you feel things you can't explain, trust them. Your intuition is not lying. Your connection is not delusional. You're just tuned in, sensitive, awake, and your love, silent or spoken, is playing a bigger role than you know. This part of the journey is one of the hardest to explain, especially to those who haven't experienced the twin flame connection. But at the center of it lies a simple and powerful truth. She isn't just in love with him. She's in relationship with a reflection of herself. Her twin flame is not just a separate person who came and stirred her soul. He is deeply tied to her inner world, especially to the part of her that holds masculine energy. That means everything he triggers in her, love, fear, longing, rejection, is showing her something she carries within herself. He reflects her unhealed pain, her hidden strength, and the parts of her she's still learning to embrace. This is why when she thinks about truly letting go, not just cutting contact, but emotionally releasing him, something inside her tightens. It doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like loss. Because walking away from him doesn't just feel like walking away from love. It feels like walking away from herself. You see, the divine feminine is on a journey of inner union. That means she's being called to reunite with all the fragmented parts of her soul, her softness and her strength, her light and her shadow, her wounds and her wisdom. Her twin flame is part of that process. He holds up the mirror that shows her what she still needs to reclaim. His presence, even in absence, pulls her back to the places within her that are still waiting to be seen. So when she tries to let go too quickly, before the inner work is done, her soul resists. It's not about being stuck. It's about unfinished healing. There's still something she needs to learn, feel, or forgive. Maybe it's the abandonment wound. Maybe it's the fear of being alone. Maybe it's learning how to love herself without conditions. Whatever it is, the bond with her twin flame is helping her face it. The deeper truth is, she doesn't actually need him to come back. What she needs is to stop running from the parts of herself he brought into the light. She needs to stay with the pain long enough to transform it, to allow it to move through her, to use it as a doorway back to herself. That's why she's not meant to forget him. She's meant to transmute the connection, to take everything it taught her, the hurt, the love, the confusion, the fire, and turn it into wisdom. She's meant to become her own anchor, her own safe place, her own divine counterpart. As she keeps doing that, something magical happens. She stops returning to the past. She starts returning to herself, to the sacred space inside where she and her twin are always connected, not in chaos, but in calm, not in pain, but in peace. Over time, she sees clearly. It was never about trying to erase him. It was about releasing the weight she placed on him, the need, the longing, the expectations. What she keeps isn't the suffering. It's the soul truth, the lesson, the love that awakened her, and that's where her power lives. If you're still holding on to this love, if you're still feeling it, even when it makes no sense, I want you to know something very simple. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to be fixed. You don't need to rush to get over it. You don't need to follow advice that tells you to shut your heart down or pretend this never happened. You are on a sacred journey, a path that very few truly understand. You're learning how to love in a way that goes far beyond romance. You're learning how to feel without fear, how to open without demanding anything in return, how to let love shape you, not just through joy, but through pain, through silence, through transformation. You've probably spent nights asking why you still feel this connection. You've probably doubted your own sanity. Maybe you've even asked the universe to just take it away, to free you from this constant pull, this ache that lives in your chest. But maybe, just maybe, that ache is not here to punish you. Maybe it's guiding you home. Because here's the truth. Your love isn't meant to be small. It's not meant to fit inside the rules of what other people think is normal. It's meant to stretch you, to wake you up, to teach you who you really are. You don't have to push it away. You don't have to make it disappear to move forward. You can keep loving and keep healing. You can honor the bond and still build a beautiful life. You can hold space for your twin flame's growth and choose yourself every single day. This love is not wasted, even if he never says another word, even if the journey doesn't end in union. What you've felt, what you've seen, what you've become because of this love, that's what matters. Because you are not just waiting for someone else, you are becoming someone new. You are the divine feminine, the one who leads with her heart, the one who rises again and again through every wave of emotion, the one who dares to love without shame. So don't silence your heart, don't question your path, and don't give up on your own unfolding just because others don't understand it. You are not here to let go of your twin flame in the way the world defines it. You are here to rise through the love, to let it lift you, change you, awaken you, and as you do, you'll realize you were never broken, you were never lost, you were just becoming, and the woman you're becoming, she is the miracle.